Hello, everyone, to all of our thanks. What the heck? That was a bad intro. To all of our American viewers watching this, and most of you are, so happy Thanksgiving to everyone. This is our Thanksgiving stream. We got a lot of football coming up on Thursday, so we should probably just get right into it. So, our first game is the Bills playing in Detroit for the second week against the Lions this time. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack because it's his division.
I think I'm still going to give the edge to the Buffalo Bills here. The Lions have been making progress the last couple weeks. They've made major defensive strides, won the last 3 of their games. So they are a hot team. So if their offense can explode, I think they could realistically have a potential upset on their hands here on Thanksgiving. But ultimately, I think the Bills, they've been really solid besides a couple hiccups here and there. And I think they're going to stay in track here in Detroit and get the win. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I gotta go Bills here. They looked really not consistent, but they've been looking more consistent than the Lions right now. The Lions are on the rise, like Jack said. But I feel like the offensive production of the Bills will be able to get them out of this game. What about you, Josh?
Well, I'm gonna have to go with the Bills too. I think that even though the Lions are second place in the NFC North, I think that the Bills are just more complete of a team than the Lions. So, give me the Buffalo Bills here. Okay, so our next matchup is the Giants versus the Cowboys. I'm going to take this one. Don't worry, we're going to go back to that next one. I'm just going by the times that they're allotted to. So, next one is the Giants versus the Cowboys. I'll take this one. I think that the Cowboys are winning because Mike McCarthy finally figured out that he has 2 running backs and he used them correctly. So, I think that in turn, they will be able to beat the Giants who had trouble against the Lions. So, give me the Cowboys here. I'm going to hand this one off to Jack for his take.
I think I also have to go Cowboys here. I just can't deny them a win here after the absolute statement they made last week in Minnesota. They crushed them in every front. They completely shut down a white-hot Vikings team, and it feels like they finally hit their stride. Tony Pollard is functioning at last. Dak Prescott is getting healthier, and he's looking a little more normal, back to his usual self than before. And as usual, the Cowboys' defense, as they've been all season, continues to be elite. While the Giants, they had a little bit of trouble against Detroit, who is getting better throughout the weeks, but still, I don't think they're going to have the firepower here to beat the Cowboys. This team's just finding their rhythm right now, and I think they're about to get really hot. Give me the Cowboys. What are your thoughts, Zach?
Thanksgiving, when this game is getting played, and it's going to be really solid. So I'm going to give it to the Cowboys just because they're going to really want to win here, especially because of how hot they've been looking. They beat a very complete Vikings team, and they're doing it at a very good, not efficient, I'm going to say efficient way because their defense has been looking really solid. It's not just Micah Parsons, and their offense is running decently. I know they scored 40, but there's still some things that can be better on the offense. So, yeah, give me Cowboys. Josh?
Okay, so our next matchup is the Patriots versus the Vikings. This is why I skipped the matchup originally. Jack, it's your turn to do it.
All right, Patriots-Vikings on Thanksgiving. I'm going to give the slight edge to the Vikings here. They had a really rough go-around against Dallas last week, but I think they'll bounce back here. I'm not 100% sold on the Patriots. It's going to probably be a defensive game. The Patriots' defense looks really good, but their offense was still pretty terrible last week. Jets' defense completely shut them down, with the only touchdown of the game being on the kick return. That was more on Zach Wilson and the Jets' offense for the Patriots win than on the Patriots' offense. So I'm going to give the slight edge to the Vikings at home here on Thanksgiving. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the Patriots here because the Vikings, this is a primetime game. Kirk Cousins still struggles in primetime, so I cannot give him the reins yet until he can show that he can win in this sort of situation. And the Patriots, they came off of a really good defensive slugfest, but I think that they are poised to probably be one of the hot teams in the AFC East right now. So give me the Patriots here. Zach?
Yeah, I have to go Kirk Cousins and the Vikings here because just because it's a primetime game doesn't mean that everyone the Vikings goes cold. If the passing game goes out, who cares? Because of how good the other side of the ball is. And besides, the Patriots only scored 3 points, and that's pretty sad offensively. And you're going to go against a team that's more complete than the Jets, you're just going to have problems. So give me the Vikings here.
Okay, so back for doing this, but our next matchup is the Bears versus the Jets. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Ooh, this one should be interesting. I'm going to still give the edge to the Jets here, weirdly enough. I don't know if Justin Fields is playing. I think he, dislocated his shoulder or something, and right now his timeline is day-to-day or season-ending, so it's pretty wide right now. I don't really know what to make of that injury timeline, so thanks for that, Matt Eberflus, but I'm going on the assumption that Justin Fields isn't going to play. The Jets' defense has still looked really good. They always seem to be the most consistent part of the team by far, and I think they'll be able to shut down the Bears' offense. I don't know about the Jets' offense, on the other hand, but if they can just do anything at all with Zach Wilson, Mike White, whoever the heck starts at quarterback, if they're able to establish a run game potentially, I think they should be able to do enough. Their defense carries them to another win here. Give me the Jets. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I got to go Jets here. They played a really nice defensive game against the Patriots. It's just Zach Wilson just needs to play a lot better. If he just plays at all a little bit competent, they win the game. And now you're going against a worse defense, so Zach Wilson should be able to cook a little bit more, score a couple touchdowns. The defense will keep him in the game. So, yeah, give me the Jets. What about you, Josh?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the Chicago Bears. Why? Because the coin said so. And the coin hasn't been wrong yet. So don't bet against the coin. I'm going to go with the Bears here. That's my only reason. Okay. So our next matchup is the Denver Broncos versus the Carolina Panthers. Zach, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Broncos. The Panthers have such a bad team and well run. And their really only offense is Dante Foreman, I believe his name is. And that's not really impressive too much. So give me the Broncos here and probably a decent match. So yeah. What about you, Jack?
I'm going with the Carolina Panthers here. Now, I guess this is technically an upset, even though both these teams are 3-7. But for one, the Broncos are still an absolute mess on the offensive side of the ball. They cut Melvin Gordon, sent Chase Edmonds to IR, so I don't even know what's happening with the RB1. I think it's Latavius Murray. But that's not the main reason I picked the Panthers. The main reason I picked the Panthers is because we are seeing the return of a legend. Sam Darnold has been named QB1 this week for this game, and he's probably going to get the start if everything goes well this week. So Sam Darnold is going to come in, and he's going to defeat the Denver Broncos. He's probably not going to be the reason they win, but he's going to get the slight edge here at home. Give me the Carolina Panthers. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the Denver Broncos here. I think that they will finally get the win that they've been looking for this entire season. Well, they've already gotten it a couple of times. But this is going to be one against the team that, if we're really going to say, is an absolute dumpster fire. So, both these teams are dumpster fires, but give me the Broncos here in this tank bowl. So, has everyone said their take?
Yes.
Okay. Next matchup is the Bucks versus the Browns. I'll take this one. I think the Bucks are going to win because they are coming off a bye, and the Browns are just fumbling around trying to figure out what the heck to do with themselves. So, give me the Bucks here. Jack, what are your thoughts?
I think I also have to go Bucks here. Now, this bye, the Bucks, I think they've won 2 straight before this bye, so they're starting to find their rhythm again. They had a weird start to the season where they kind of struggled for most of it, but they seem like they're getting back on task, and if everything went well in the bye week, it's probably the start of the playoff push, just to make sure you can secure the crappy NFC South division. The Browns, they've just sort of been running around, floating. I don't really know how to get a read on them. Their defense hasn't looked very good. Their offense is pretty inconsistent most times. Some weeks they're absolutely torching the Cincinnati Bengals, and then the next week they're getting steamrolled 2 weeks in a row. So you just never know with this Browns team. I just trust the Bucs off a bye. I feel like they're starting to finally get some rhythm, and we'll see how that goes. But I'm giving the edge to the Bucs here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I'm gonna go Bucks here. These teams both look really inconsistent, but this is the last week where there's no Deshaun Watson for the Browns, so they're probably just gonna get a loss here, and then Deshaun will finally come in and start winning them games. But right now, I'm gonna give it to the Buccaneers for the win.
Okay, so our next matchup, I'm sorry about this streak, Zach, but the first one is going to be Raiders-Seahawks. Zach?
Seahawks. Yeah, this is probably an obvious matchup. The Raiders played a decent game against the Broncos, but it's just nothing to be excited about because the Broncos and the Raiders are two of the worst teams, while the Seahawks are looking like one of the better teams and one of the more young up-and-coming teams. So give me the Seahawks here. What about you, Jack?
I also have to go with the Seahawks here. I get the Raiders were able to secure the win over the Broncos last week, but I don't really care, to be honest. The Broncos and the Raiders are pretty much on the same level. It's a coin toss every game. They're always fighting each other, and the Raiders can only seem to beat the Broncos so far this season. I believe they beat one other team. Don't remember who that was, but overall, they're still a very bad team. This Seahawks team, while they did drop a game to the Bucs, they've had a bye week to prepare, and they have looked like one of the better teams through so far in the season. So I expect them to get back to their winning ways here, and they will get the dub in Seattle. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Well, I'm going to have to go with the Seahawks here because, like everyone else said, the Raiders are a poverty franchise, and the Seahawks are looking to try to make a playoff push this year. So, give me the Seahawks. Okay, so our next matchup is the Chargers versus the Cardinals. Zach, it's you again.
This is an annoying matchup because the Cardinals are dealing with a lot of injuries, with also the Chargers dealing with a lot of injuries. I'm gonna go Chargers here just because of question of Kyler Murray playing is still in the air. We still don't have all of our options like Hollywood. He should be coming back very soon. D-Hop is playing very well. Colt McCoy, we don't really know if he can run an offense. James Conner's inconsistent. Just a lot of inconsistencies on this Cardinals team, and if any of you say fire Cliff, you or Jack says it, we already know, and it's gonna happen probably after this season. So just yeah, and Steve Keim too. If you mention anything about their firings, I've been hearing it all over Instagram. I don't need to hear it everywhere I go. So yeah, Josh,
I am going to say it first. They need to fire everyone. I think that the Chargers are winning this game because Cliff Kingsbury looks lost. Kyler Murray's too busy playing Warzone to actually get off the couch and play a game. And Colt McCoy, even though he's a nice story that he's still in the NFL as a backup quarterback, he is not a starter and should be relegated to a backup spot wherever he goes and should never see the field. He should be like Chase Daniel. Never see the field, get paid a lot of money to do it. So, give me the Chargers here. Even though they're injured telling back, I think that the Cardinals are just a worse-off team even with injuries. Jack?
I have to go with the Chargers here. While they continue to be one of the strangest teams in the league, they had a really well-fought match against Kansas City last week. They did lose, but they looked better than normal. Their receivers are still not really healthy, and as usual, they're injured. But same goes for the Cardinals, who have also been struggling. I don't know what Kyler Murray's situation is anymore. I thought he was day-to-day. He missed 2 games now. Maybe he makes it back for this one. Hollywood could also make it back. So there's a lot of injuries on both sides, but I'm giving the slight edge to the Chargers here. I just trust them slightly more at this point, even though both teams have been weird and inconsistent and injury-riddled for pretty much the whole season now.
Okay. So our next matchup is the Rams-Chiefs. Finally, Zach.
This is a really easy one. The Chiefs have been playing very consistent football, while the Rams have been very inconsistent, losing to just the most random opponents like the Saints. So I have to go Chiefs here just because of how disappointing this Rams team has been. Yeah. What about you, Jack?
I'm going Chiefs. I'm sick and tired of this Rams team. They're done. They're not. They just don't have it anymore. They lost to the Saints. Pretty much enough said as it is. The Saints have been really bad so far, and they've been struggling. But ultimately, Chiefs are significantly better than the Rams at this point. No Cooper Kupp. Matthew Stafford's still in concussion protocol. He got put back in it. And this Chiefs team has been dominant. I don't expect that streak to end against the Rams. They're at home in Arrowhead. They should win this one pretty handily. Give me the Chiefs. What are your thoughts, Josh?
Chiefs. The Chiefs have just shown why they don't need Tyreek, and Mahomes is an amazing quarterback. And also Kelsey's an amazing tight end. And the Rams have just been falling off week after week. We don't know which Rams team we're going to get, so I have to choose the safe option in the Kansas City Chiefs here. So, Zach, okay, I think everyone said their take, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, our next matchup is the Falcons versus the Commanders. I'll take this one. I think the Falcons are going to be winning this. Even though the Commanders did just blow out the Texans, it's the Texans. I wasn't really expecting much from them. Wasn't expecting a blowout, but wasn't expecting them to win it. So, I think that the Falcons will win here because I just like their team. Even though Kyle Pitts is injured, they don't need Kyle Pitts. They barely use their tight end anyway, so give me the Falcons winning a slugfest here. I'm going to hand this off to Zach.
The Commanders, they're still trying to fight for a playoff spot. They're the 8th seed right now. Depending on what the Niners, I'm going to say for them against the Saints. But they're just still trying to fight in a very competitive NFC East, and they're going to keep fighting because the Giants literally just have to drop one more game for them to get in. So, yeah, I'm going to go Commanders here. So, yeah, Jack?
I'm going Commanders here. I low-key like this Commanders team as of late. They've been really solid. They've won pretty much all their games down the stretch. One loss was to the Vikings, who were going crazy at that stretch. And Taylor Heineke seemed to sort of re-energize them. Everything's sort of relatively improving. They have a winning record again. And this Falcons team is just continuing to be relatively weird for the most part. I just trust the Commanders. They seem a little more consistent in what they do, even if it looks weird. It's going to be one of the weirder games. Probably a lot of running the ball. Some defense mixed in to the bunch. But ultimately, I think the Commanders will come out on top here and get the win.
Okay, so our next matchup is the Saints versus the 49ers. Zach, your thoughts?
I'm going to have to go Niners here. They've been playing very consistent football lately, especially against the Cardinals. That matchup really didn't show a lot on how well they played. With the shortened week, I believe they'll still be able to beat the Saints team. It's not going to be that difficult, especially because how many injuries the Saints have been dealing with too. So yeah. What about you, Jack?
49ers versus Saints. I got to go 49ers here. This 49ers team has been really good as of late. They've sort of been on a tear the last couple of weeks, and I still don't know about the Saints team. They seem incredibly bad for the most part. They were able to beat the Rams, who are equally as bad, if not way below them at this point. But the 49ers team, they've waken up. Jimmy G went on a rampage on Monday Night Football. I think he threw like 4 touchdowns or something. CMC's getting in the system more. Debo, Kittle looks healthier than normal. So I think everything's just turning right for these 49ers right now, and I don't think the Saints have any chance of getting in their way. No one's stopping them right now. Give me the 49ers. What are your thoughts, Josh?
I'm going to have to go with the 49ers here. They are looking like they are going all gas, no brake. Everything is all systems go. They are looking great. Playoff contenders, back to where they need to be. And everything's just clicking. So give me the 49ers here. Okay. Everyone say their take?
I think so.
Next matchup is the Packers versus the Eagles. Jack, what are your thoughts?
Ooh. I'm giving the edge to the Eagles. I'm not 100% sold on the Eagles as the last couple weeks. They've gotten in a bit of a, I'd say, slump. They dropped that game to the Commanders. They won by like 1 against the Colts, and Matt Ryan was just driving, and it was almost very bad. But I still think this Eagles team is the most complete, and I think they're just having a weird middle-of-the-season shakeup. This Packers team is weird. They're still not very good. They still have trouble establishing the run game, but Christian Watson seems to be a touchdown freak, so there's a chance Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to keep them in it with the run game and Christian Watson. But ultimately, I think the Eagles will come out on top here. They're still one of the best teams in the league, and I think they're going to start to sort of end their weird one-game loss. So I'm giving the slight edge to the Eagles here. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I gotta go Eagles here. The Packers haven't looked consistent at all. They've been having a very inconsistent season, especially because Rodgers is not throwing the ball too well. Christian Watson's been all right, so it's just not been a good season. While the Eagles, they've had a little bit of a slump, a slump, like Jack said, but I don't think it's gonna be dropping a game to the Packers. So yeah, give me the Eagles. Josh.
I'm going to have to go with the Eagles here because the Packers are inconsistent and the Eagles haven't looked good, but I think this is their rebound game to just get the season back on track after losing 2 games that they should not have lost. One to the Commanders and one to... Who did they lose to last week?
Oh, they didn't drop the Colts game. They almost did, though.
Oh, yeah, they almost... I just remember watching Red Zone and seeing them almost lose. Yeah, you're not supposed to do that whenever you were the undefeated team. So, this is still very weird for me, but I gotta choose the Eagles here to just get their season back on track, get a decisive win, and just come back to being contenders. Okay. So, our next game is the Bengals versus the Titans. I'll take this one first. I think that the Titans are going to be winning because the Titans really dominate in the regular season. Not as much in the playoffs, but they will be getting the revenge for that divisional round game. Jack, what are your thoughts?
I think I have to go Bengals here. I'm still not 100% sold on this Titans team. They've been really good and consistent, but I still don't know if they can consistently pass the ball. To their credit, Treylon Burks has finally come back from IR, and it looks like he's starting to hit his stride. He had his first 100-yard game last week. But at the same time, I think this Bengals team is also starting to get a little healthier. They did lose Joe Mixon, but I think Pirine should be able to hold down the ship for the time being at least. And ultimately, I'm still not 100% trusting this Titans team. I think the Bengals will get the win here, and if it's going to be a big week for them. They have a heavily contested wild card race right now in the AFC, as you can see on the left side. And it's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. But I'm going to give the slight edge to the Bengals in a very competitive game. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I have to give it to the Bengals because this team has more consistency with their offense than the Titans. The Titans can only really run the ball. If the if the Bengals can stop the run, they should be fine. So yeah, give me the Bengals. Josh.
I'm gonna. Oh yeah, I already went. So now we're gonna move on to the next one: the Texans versus the Dolphins. I'm gonna go first. I think that the Dolphins will be winning this because they're coming off of a bye and the Texans suck. They are a dumpster fire. They're thinking about starting Kyle Allen over Davis Mills. If your franchise is debating whether to start trash or more trash, I don't know what to say at this point. Stopped watching them because it's seen as torture, and I don't want to submit myself to that most weeks. I'd rather do other things. And so I gotta go with the Dolphins here. We're gonna get one step closer to Bryce Young and one step closer to contendership. Jack, what are your thoughts?
This has to be the Dolphins. Dolphins have hit their stride offensively, and while their defense has had their hiccups here and there, I highly doubt the Texans' offense outside of Dameon Pierce is going to be able to capitalize on a little bit of a Miami defense that's taking a slight slide right now. This Texans team is tunnel vision. They have one goal in mind, and that is to find the franchise quarterback at the top of the draft. Probably Bryce Young, could be C.J. Stroud. We don't know yet, but ultimately, I don't think the Dolphins are going to be the one to mess with the Texans' tank. They have too much to lose, and they finally hit their stride on the offensive side of the ball. They should win this game relatively handily. What are your thoughts, Zach?
I gotta go Dolphins here. The Texans have been the worst team in the NFL right now, and the Dolphins have been one of the best offensive teams, if not the best. So give me the Dolphins in a blowout.
Okay, so Why is every single AFC matchup this year just some AFC South team? Yeah, well, guess I'm doing all of them. Next one is Ravens-Jags. I'll take this one first. I think the Ravens are winning because the Jags are not far behind from this ranking of suckitude compared to the Texans. So give me the Ravens here, winning a hopefully not a close game, but I don't know. I don't know what sort of Greg Roman offense we're going to be getting. I don't know what sort of Ravens team we're going to be getting. So give me the Ravens here with some sort of score. Okay, so on to Zach.
Ravens. The Ravens have also had one of the better offenses of this year, while the Jags have had really inconsistent play and they have not really hit their stride. They're actually at a decline right now. So give me the Ravens. Jack.
I have to go Ravens here. I could see a room for upset because the Ravens did look a little funky last week in Carolina. They had a little bit of a struggle, but ultimately they were able to put the game away. This Jags team, I get they're coming off a bye, but they've been slumping for a while now. Their only win in the last month or so has been against the Raiders, and we all know what's going on in Raiderland right now. So I'm giving the edge to the Ravens. The Carolina performance wasn't pretty, but they were able to get the win, and I expect them to win a little more convincingly against the Jags here. So give me the Ravens.
Okay, finally, we have the Steelers versus the Colts. I will take this matchup again for the fourth time, and I will take the Colts here. I think Jeff Saturday has really proved to be at least a competent hire, if not a good hire, if he can start winning down the stretch with this team. Jim Irsay was insane, but he could have actually been right. And I think it will start with these Steelers. I don't know if Mike Tomlin's going to be fired at the end of the year. He probably should be if the Steelers keep at the rate that they're going. But I got to say, give me the Colts here. Zach, what are your thoughts?
Give me the Colts. Jeff Saturday's been really solid lately as being a head coach. And I feel like this will just be a consistent thing with him, especially because of how the team seems more motivated by him, and the offense has been working a lot better because of him. So, yeah. Heck.
I think I'm also going to go Colts here. The Colts have seemed to be improving as of late since they've made the coaching change. So I'll give them credit there. Things are looking up for them. They almost beat probably one of the best, if not the best team in the league last week. They were able to get the win against the Raiders. I get that's not a lot, but still. Well, the Steelers team, I could definitely see a path to winning because since the bye week, they're 1-1 and they put up 30 against the Bengals in a relatively competitive game. So they have been playing better as of late, but the Colts have also been playing better as of late. And I just think their feats have been slightly more impressive than the Steelers, so I'm giving the edge to the Colts here.
Okay, so everyone done their take?
I think so.
Okay, so that should be it on our video. Everyone, have a happy Thanksgiving. If you're in America, enjoy all the great football. And for any of our Americans who like the other football that's going on right now, make sure that you enjoy this month of World Cup action too. And just be thankful for everything that you have. And we're all thankful here for you viewers who tune in every week. We're thankful for everyone who comes with us and just supports our content. So thank you to everyone for watching, for subscribing, for hitting all the likes and subscribe button for all these years that we've been doing this. Probably about, 2 years now. So I'm going to say thank you from all of us. And Jack, get the plugs.
As always, don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FrontlineFB. It's just right there. Follow that for the extra content we post on there sometimes. And we'll be back here for predictions next week. Enjoy your Thanksgiving. I'd say Thanksgiving, a little under a week. Thanksgiving's Thursday, so enjoy your Thanksgiving stretch over these next few days.